Hello, welcome to Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. My name is Elizabeth and I'm going to be reading for you today. The theme of our reading tonight is connecting with your animal guides. So we've got 4 guides here and we're going to call upon them and see what messages they have for you. Remember that this is a general reading, so not everything will apply to you specifically necessarily. For some of you, you might get specific messages. So just using your intuition to decide what is and isn't for you. So our first pile, and my camera does mirror things, but I will, this is our first pile. I don't know what that is. I'm not even going to try with these stones. I'm just giving you stones as a way to differentiate the piles, or you can choose from 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know when I watch these videos, I just hear the number in my head and I go to the timestamp. But everyone has their own process. For some of you, it may be necessary now to ground your feet, taking some deep breaths in and out, to feel very present in this moment and in your body. Allowing all of the tension in your face, neck, and shoulders to relax, melt down toward the earth. And as you take those long, slow, deep breaths, allowing yourself to feel peaceful, calling in your animal guides. Perhaps you will find a new guide today. But calling in your already existing ones, if you have them. And we ask that all of our guides be present in this moment and tonight, so that we may receive the wisdom that is meant for us. So choosing your pile, find the timestamp below, and we'll see you there. All right, welcome pile number 1. This is your reading. You may have chosen this stone. Where am I? Too close, not too close. There we go. Let's see who your guide is for this reading. With Blackbird. So immediately I'm hearing the song Tiny Dancer by Elton John. And I'm actually seeing scenes from the movie Almost Famous. So this might be significant to someone. And summer festivals. I'm seeing a dusty summer festival. Being out in the sunlight. This outdoor space has not seen rain in a long time. And you're feeling nostalgic for this place and this space. And your guide is taking you here. The Blackbird is taking you here to remind you of a feeling that you left there. A feeling you thought you could only have in that space. Blackbird is telling you that that feeling is available to you always. Go into your memory and find this memory. Find this place. For some of you, this is an introduction to the next shadow you'll be working through. Something happened at a festival or party that violated your sense of self. It was unkind and cruel. You experienced loneliness and darkness. And it changed you to your core, but you blocked it out, you left it as insignificant. it blended in with party days or old times or something that became insignificant, but it is significant. Your body remembers it. There's an imprint. That's for someone. For others, it's a feeling of joy or connection. Someone who played an instrument or sang a song or danced, who hasn't danced in a long time. And there's someone very strongly coming through that played the fiddle. And you haven't picked it up in a long time. I'm sensing someone died and you associated it with them. Overall, the blackbird is calling you to remember, for those of you who are older, this is a memory that goes back to your early 20s or late teens, but likely young adulthood. And this is a time to be worked through, to process, but also to mine for beautiful moments. So perhaps there is still some shame about choices that were made, about things that were done. And with the kindness of yourself today, you look back on yourself and forgive yourself for being young. And remember the brightness and vitality and the promise and the hope and the faith of that time. You weren't clueless because you wanted to be. You were naive because you were supposed to be. Because that was where life was at the time. That's where you were at the time. Let's see if there are any other messages from the tarot cards. I'm using an animal totem tarot. 3 of Wands reversed. 4 of Swords. Death. All right, pile number 1. Pile number 1, you may have done some traveling. This festival may have been, or this place that you're being asked to remember may have been somewhere that you traveled. Traveled when you were younger. There's a spirit of curiosity that you've lost or that you've buried in yourself, perhaps to cope with the mundane. And you really have dropped into that space of rest, of thinking, of being rational, of making right choices, of making adult choices. And for those of you who had a traumatic experience, this is on purpose. This has been to protect you. For those of you who are being asked to recall your joy, there are a lot of messages coming through. So take the part that is for you. For those of you who are being asked to remember who you were, there's the adventure and curiosity you have left aside in order to pay your mortgage, be a good citizen, do what you're supposed to. And eventually all of these things catch up with you. This is a card of transformation, that a vulture feeds on a corpse. It cannot eat without death. You cannot continue to live the way that you have. And you've been resting on this for a long time. You've been in your head for a long time. I'm hearing for one of you or some of you, you used to bake things for people. It's almost like a person who shows up to a party with baked goods and everyone's like, I want you to be my grandma. Or just, you found in this party scene that you used to be a part of, or this festival scene, whatever resonates, a way of nurturing people. And you've forgotten that that was a part of yourself as well. That it wasn't all just making irresponsible choices, that in fact you were the caregiver of people. That you are in fact one of the responsible ones. And you're hard on yourself, so you hold yourself to these choices that you made when you were young. But you were young. Any final messages from Blackbird? Carry your youth in your heart with lightness and brightness, in solidarity with your former self, not in spite of or against. There's a rediscovery of this shadow self at this period of your life that will carry you into this next cycle, that will give you the bravery or the energy, that fire, the ability to come into your heart space and align with yourself. Find that joy, that connection, that energy, connectivity. I think you think because you're an adult you don't get to have that. But if we're creative, we can find those things. If we open our hearts, we can find those things. We can find those people, again, that inspire us. There's a lot of lifting, vibrant energy here. Work with it. Allow yourself to be it. Maybe you overcompensate. Maybe you've married someone who grounds you completely, or you found a situation that holds you down because you're afraid of floating. You're afraid of who you used to be. You have to embrace that person. It's important you integrate that person into who you are and respect that person for what he or she learned, for what they learned, for what they were, and for their vitality. That's all I have for you, pile number one. Please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below and let me know how that spoke to you. And we'll see you soon. All right, hello, welcome pile number 2. You chose the purple stone. This is your reading. We'll see what animal we have for you tonight. The horse. Closed heart space. You've been running your whole life. It's time to take responsibility for yourself, for your part in everything. And responsibility doesn't mean being cruel to yourself or being hard on yourself. It just means owning and acknowledging that you can make mistakes. Horse Spirit reminds you that victimhood does not benefit the victim, nor does it change the person who did you wrong. There are no winners. Sorry, it got noisy here, so I'm coming back. There are 4 things you need to remember. You make choices. You make mistakes. You're human and you are loved. Let's see what the tarot cards say. And if you're interested in what cards I'm using, they will be mentioned in the description box below. Two of Cups reversed. The Three of Wands reversed. Interesting. And Strength reversed. All right, so this situation, or one of the situations that's coming through here, is a situation where someone feels like they are carrying a burden, like they've been personally victimized by their struggle, that there have been missed opportunities for the sake of someone else. This is sort of like being in a relationship and you say, oh, I would have gone on that trip if I hadn't been with so-and-so, or and this is in close romantic relationships in particular, there's this trope or this story that keeps playing itself out where I am the victim of this person. I carry the load. I carry the burdens. I do the work. I am a martyr, sort of, in one way. So for some of you, it's not that extreme. For some of you, it is. For some of you, this is deeply ingrained. You were taught how to be a victim, and that never changes unless you know to change it. But this is about taking responsibility for yourself and recognizing that it is It's you who makes the choice not to go or not to do something or not to be a part of something, not to participate. How many times have you turned something down and said that it was for someone else or for something else or for a family? Stayed at home, not taking opportunities because you were trying to be there for someone, or insert reason here that had to do with someone else. Is there some way that maybe it was you that was scared, or how do you hold yourself back? How do you hold yourself back? And there's a call here to have a more playful energy, a more of a sense of humor about yourself. I would say this is the advice of the horse, is to be more playful, to approach yourself with more of a sense of humor, to recognize that you make mistakes, but you can still be loved. You can laugh at yourself. It's important to laugh at yourself, not to take yourself too seriously. When are you being helpful and when are you being a martyr? When someone is perpetually a victim, it's often that they're a victim of themselves, that they are trapped in a cycle where they are perpetually seeking people to disappoint them or to hold them back. And we've turned this energy around, we've turned all of these reversals around, and we see strength at the center, at the heart, that this perception of inability or being burdened becomes a strength. You recognize that for all these years that you have been shouldering all of this in your relationships has created resilience and strength and fortitude, that you can carry a lot. And you start carrying that for yourself instead of others. You start making choices and decisions for yourself, going for those things that you fear, and inviting in balanced love, balanced energy, someone who shows up for you the way that you show up for them. And that's a short and sweet one, pile number 2. That's what I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment if this resonated, or if it didn't. Let me know how this spoke to you, and we'll see you soon. All right, welcome to your reading, pile number 3. You chose this blue guy right here. All right, I want to say, first of all, because of what's come up in some of the other piles, if it seems at first that it's a little bit heavier, a little bit negative, or you feel like you're being accused of something, stick with it, because there's usually like a positive message that comes from it or some productive advice. So just keep in mind that animal spirits, guides, don't tend to hold back. And so we're just delivering an honest and balanced message tonight, or whatever time you're watching this. All right, we begin with the Hawk card. And Hawk is blazing through the night. This has a phoenix energy. Regenerative. I keep messing up my words tonight. Regenerative energy is dominant here. You have left so many situations behind, and you see them burning beneath you. And there was a situation that you thought that you burnt down in, and you did. And then you rose from it. and you felt injured, you felt hurt in your belly, felt hurt in your feet. Some days you felt as if you couldn't even carry yourself to the next day because of the pain, the remembrance of the burning. This hard and fast and thick trauma and pain and hurt and suffering formed you and forged you. Look at you. A bright light burning across a dark night. And those who see you see the way, and they follow behind you. You're a guide. And also for some of you, I'm getting the butterfly. That you have transformed into many things. You have many guides. You are highly guided. You once had a blanket over your face and you felt smothered and you felt that that blanket would never lift, that that was how you had to live. But can you breathe now? Can you feel it? Take it in. Learn to fly with new wings and higher. You have expanded so much more than you know. Burning bright, guiding others by night. It could be that you are a shadow worker. We're going to pull some tarot cards, see what they have to say. Ooh, this one flew out. Ace of Wands reversed. Nine of Pentacles reversed. You have learned to trust your passions and to trust your fire, or you are learning this if you haven't learned it already. You are in the process of learning this. Look at the light in the night. Pile number 3, you can probably already tell me what I'm going to say. You're an evolved being. I don't know how else to say it. Trust this light. Trust that you have this within you. And you've had to learn to release safety nets and accept help. But also to enjoy and appreciate the labors. All the things that you've done and built. And that with this tortoise, it's been a long time coming. But look at you. You made it. You made it to the 6 of Wands. This is a victory. And there's community represented here by the bee. So this is being able to share the fruits of your independence and your passion and your light. So if you're not already a guide or teacher of some kind, that is your path. Or you already know your path and you step onto it. But this is to remind you of your light and to remind you that you have arrived. And it may not feel like it, but you're there. You've still got things to conquer and master, sure, further lessons to learn, but a big cycle has ended. This has to do with closing out childhood trauma cycles, breaking big cycles, evolving beyond perhaps even what you thought you could. This is a new leveled up. And that's all I have for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Give the video a like or a comment. Let me know how it resonates. It really helps out the channel to help it to grow if you comment. And let me know how this spoke to you. I'll meet all of my evolved, awakened visitors. It's a pleasure to know you. Thank you so much. Welcome, pile number 4, my last and final pile. You chose this basic beach rock. No one hates on basic here. All right, so I'm going to say this because I said that's for the last pile. And some of the beginning of these readings can be kind of heavy or deep. But know that there is light through the shadow. So you may find some uplifting advice or some uplifting messages beyond what the original message from your animal guide is tonight. Okay, so we have the crane. Oh. This is some deep sacral work. I'm feeling this in the sacral and the root. So some ancestral traumas, things you carry in your DNA. This could be inherited addictions, inherited mental health issues, inherited conditions, physically, emotionally. I'm covering a broader range in that way. So sometimes the hurt you feel isn't your own. Sometimes the hurt you feel is, it's come before you. It's been passed on. The crane is asking you, are you a cycle breaker? Or do you follow the cycle? You're being asked to answer this question honestly, truthfully. Have you been breaking the cycles? If you are a cycle breaker, or have you been ignoring them? This is deep in your root. Genetic, even. And a mean mother or father had a mean mother or father, had a mean mother or father. And how do you treat your children? How will you treat your children? When family has always been mean to you? How do you treat those who are beneath you? Meaning in power or in rank, even as a manager or as a teacher or as a guide. How do you treat those people? Do you treat them with respect and equality? Respect and equality is how you break the cycle. And let go of that clenched fist. Because that anger only hurts you. And let go of that clenched jaw. Because it's holding in words, true or untrue. It's holding in your heart. It's almost like you let your heart get up into your mouth and then you start chewing on it. You break your own heart over and over again. Specific message for someone. There's a college boy and a lost shoe. And you'll know exactly what that means. And you'll feel the pain of it in your side and in your gut. You need to acknowledge it and face it because it's been chasing you. For some of you, this issue is related to time passing, anxiety about time, being on time, or being accountable. Almost feeling like the clock owns you. But you know that's not true. So finding freedom and liberation from these past cycles. Let's see how the tarot cards, what they have to say. The crane is an animal that it's associated with like rivers and more swampy, not swamp, but marshy areas, so like land and water. So that's the physical component and the emotional component are present, just in the symbol of it even. The Page of Pentacles, the Star, oh that's a good card. Lots of hope. And the Two of Wands. Yeah. You're the breaker. You're called to be the breaker of cycles. Is a llama or an alpaca? And it's given up the weight of something that is not theirs to carry. So this is about giving up. This is about giving up pains that aren't yours, pains that you carry that aren't yours, ancestral ones, or those, if you're an empath, those of the people around you, perhaps even current day family members. If you feel overly responsible for them or like you owe them, this is about releasing those burdens. And not being afraid to become independent. So if there's a built-in dependence here where you think you can't like financially survive without them or materially survive without them, there may be some compromises that have to be made, but you still can make that work. Because we have the Star. And this is there's a pearl here in the center of these lights. inside of the, what does a pearl come out of? A muscle? And it's overlooked by the light of the lighthouse. So this beacon in a dark night. And this is light attracts light through darkness. So you are guided divinely. And that's where you can trust that you will be taken care of. If you remove these things, in fact, you'll be more fruitful if you do. Better able to move through time and space as yourself. And this is making a choice to leave behind an unwanted weight. Choose to put down what isn't yours. Climb as high as you like. Remove yourself from the container that restricts you, the safety net that restricts you, that is tied to dependency, that is tied to rules or conditions of love and trust that are unhealthy. Unhealthy family dynamics are very heavily represented in this pile. It could also be in friendships or relationships, but for most of you, it will be family. And the crane is your guide to and through, and it could be the heron as well if you're in real life and you spot, and you don't have cranes where you are, you may spot a heron. And this will be confirmation that you have made a choice or decision that is right for you. Or if you're walking along and you're thinking about this choice that you have to make, or this burden that you have to shed, and a heron flies by, or a crane, this could be confirmation for you that you're on the right path. You're very divinely guided. So this bird will show up for you. Maybe it's in images if you don't have any in your area, or like on a TV, or in pictures, magazines. Doesn't even look at magazines anymore. Instagram. It'll show up for you somehow. It'll make itself known when you are on the right path, and always when you are making a choice that leads you down the right path to break this cycle, this genetic, familial, ancestral trauma and pain. And some of your deep hurts and pains that go back to infancy, childhood. But there's so much hope here. There's so much light through this darkness. That's you. You're the pearl. I forget how pearls are made, but I think it's kind of disgusting. It's like the junk. It's like the crust that you remove from your eye when you wake up. But it like creates a pearl, and then we're like, oh, a pearl. What a beautiful thing. But it's that's the essence of what's going on here, is this is what you're becoming. You're becoming this beautiful, sacred, precious thing. Through all of this adversity and through all of the things that you're cleansing in your family line, your ancestral line. You may want to check out some of my past life and ancestral videos. I've got more coming out soon. So keep an eye out for that, and connecting with your ancestors through journey. You can check out my information in the description box. I do events and personal sessions where we can look into that a little bit more for you. But for right now, that's all I have for you. So give this channel a subscribe. Please like the video and leave a comment. It really helps me out so I can build this channel. Thank you so much. Have a good night.